considering what can fall under the category of the word correction.
Sure.
Because technically correction means to fix, right? In order to fix something, you have to address something, but how you choose to address something is like, you can correct things in a number of ways. So for the most part, when people think of correction, they think of using an aversive, obviously something that is uncomfortable. And in some situations, I think it really, really matters how we use that aversive and what our intention is for after we use it. And this is another thing that I've been focusing a little bit more on, which I think gives us an opportunity to be a little bit more fair to a dog, depending on where they are in the stage or phase of their training.
Sure.
So I want to correct a dog, but I want to correct a dog how? And I think of it this way. So I can use an aversive to reinforce a behavior, aka get more of a behavior. I can use an aversive to get less of a behavior, punish, right? What I've been dabbling more with is accepting the dog's adjustment in earlier stages of training, which I don't want to get too technical here, but if we're looking at it in theory, it's a form of negative reinforcement. Right? So my dog is doing something inappropriate. Let's say I pop with the leash or remote or whatever. I add something that the dog deems uncomfortable. And as a result, they adjust to an alternative behavior that I'm happy with. In theory, that's negative reinforcement. Right? Like I've added, and as a result, I've removed what is going to be a cycle of me giving you an opportunity to make a choice. Let's say, for example, trying to think in my mind, visualizing, I'm messing around with a dog, and it could be treats, it could be a toy, it could be a ball, it could be tug, and now the dog loves this game, and I end up asking the dog to place, and for whatever reason, the dog's obsessed with a toy and doesn't go. So now I add a leash pop, and let's say the dog does not go to place. I say, nope, which is like, Ron, we're going to try this again. But I'm going to give you the opportunity to be successful without my help. Now, my help is something that should help, but is also something that the dog should actively seek to avoid. And if my help is too pleasant, dog is always going to seek it. So I have to make that help unpleasant. So dog doesn't do it after the pop. I say, nope. I'm going to come around to asking them again. The command, place. I'm going to wait before the leash pop, before my help, because I want them to be able to be successful. And if I say place and then they go, fantastic. I can throw that ball again, or the game can turn on again, or they can get the food, whatever it is. Or I say place, the dog doesn't do it. I pop again, and then they go, and the same reward turns on. I, in theory, am reinforcing the alternative behavior. So I'm happy with their adjustment. That would be the equivalent of you're speeding on a highway. You're doing 100 and a 65. And I'm a trooper. I pull up behind you. I throw my lights on. And once you see the lights in your rear view mirror, you slow down to 65. And I go, I'm good with that. You didn't know what the speed limit was. I shut my lights off. I let you go. I'm trying to reinforce and teach you what the speed limit was, how to be successful, how to do the thing. So if I'm adding this aversive, I'm happy with your adjustment that you're making beautiful. In theory, I'm reinforcing an alternative behavior. I'm happy with your adjustment. Next day comes along, you're speeding again. I go, oh, geez, this guy's doing 100. I pull up behind you, throw my lights on. You slow down to 65. I shut them off and I go, all right, that's it. Once I've seen that you can be successful, once I've seen that you know what to do and I've spent time doing that, day 3 comes around, and this is doesn't have to be the 3rd time. I'm just giving an example. This guy is still speeding. Now, when I pull up behind you, I throw my lights on and you slow down to 65. I don't care. I'm not interested. I'm no longer interested in your adjustment. So in order to punish this behavior, because I'm not interested in your adjustment. If I was interested in your adjustment, I'm interested in reinforcing an alternative behavior. At this point, you knew what the alternative behavior was. You've been successful doing it. Now I'm interested in punishing the actual crime or whatever you want to
Sure.
call it. So I have to pull you over, essentially stopping progression.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna give you another example for anybody that might be watching this. I have to stop you. So when I get behind you and you slow down to 65, I got to do whatever is necessary to actually get the vehicle stopped. Because once I stop progression, aka the bad behavior, we're gonna get to that in a second.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to have my punishment event with you. Punishment event could be whatever the dog deems uncomfortable. It could be painful. It could hurt. Doesn't have to. It just has to be out of the dog's control because their adjustment doesn't get them out of the consequence.
Yeah.
That sort of makes sense?
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
no,
So
I 100% agree. Yeah.
Something I've been dabbling with a lot. I want to make sure that by the time I'm correcting via punishing a dog, that I am aware that they knew what the right choice was to make. And now they realize that, hey, listen, if you lunge after somebody aggressively,
Yeah.
and I pop you with the leash or remote and you adjust and we keep walking, I'm not interested in you slowing down to 65. We've had that conversation. I've shown you what I expect.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to punish you. So, man, after I shoot someone in the head, if you go Blake, or I punch your best friend in the face, you go Blake, sit down. You're not really interested in the fact that I sat. Like,
Yeah.
If I know that gets me out of a behavior, I can pop off. And then when you catch me, I go, oh, and I adjust and we're gone. If it was that easy, then you're just nurturing compliance when caught.
Yeah.
So I know I kind of went off into a wormhole here, but that's something in regards to correction.
Yeah.
And we're talking about like the internet world and reading that. It's like they got to understand it's far deeper.
Sure.
And there's far more details than what the surface or that little video that they're watching on TikTok or Instagram will show.